Today we are in France with DS Automobiles with the DS number 7 behind me here. My name is Peter, welcome to a new Auto Gefühl video, and this is not going to be a full review of the car because this is the static press launch today. There's a bit of a timeline involved. It's now February that we're recording this. The embargo for this press briefing today expires in March, so that's when you'll see this video. Then by summer there will be opening of the order books and also a full dynamic media drive that we're of course going to attend. And then by the end of the year, end of 2026, this car will be available for purchase in the showroom. So not a full review today because we can't drive the car yet, but we can get some first impressions on what this new potential bestseller for DS is, what it's like inside, and what it means for the brand in their entire lineup. Now, even though we can't do the full review, there is a lot to see, and we start here on the front of the car with a very distinct and recognizable DS design. If you've seen my video of the DS number 8, of course there's a lot of design cues coming from that car. But it is important to note here that it's not just a DS8 with a slightly different body style on top. They do share the underlying architecture, of course, in terms of batteries and powertrains and so on, but there is quite a lot different panels, different ways of thinking around this car that make it a distinctly different vehicle. And the big one, of course, is size. The DS8 is a big car, and this is a car that needs to compete between the C and D segments. So it's between an Audi Q4 and an Audi Q5, and they really aim for that middle of the D and the C segment, sort of the intersection of where those two meet. And they say that they can offer the space and the range and the features of a D segment SUV while offering the price of a C segment SUV. So that's very interesting that they deliberately aim for that middle ground. But there's no way around it that they take the design cues from the number 8. So those lights on the side, the illuminated grille, of course, it is very distinctive DS. The color here, by the way, is the special green launch color for this number 7, and it's not available on any of the other DS products. So the car is 4.66 meters long, but walking around it like this, it does seem bigger to me. So it's a nice trick they've played, that the car looks a lot bigger than it physically is. And it is actually quite a cool opportunity being here in the studios where they designed the car to listen to the people that actually do so, what it all means, like what these sharp creases mean for the aerodynamics and why they've made the choices that they've made. And it's cool. I think it's really nice to see those insights behind a car. Now here in the back, I already pointed them out, the lights, of course, very typical DS as well. You saw them on the number 8. And then when we come to the full rear, you can see the clean lines here. And again, the lights make the car look a lot wider than it actually is. You can see the shoulder line here too. Really nice, I think, really nice contours of the vehicle. Now, while we're back here, we might as well open the boot. 560 liters of boot capacity, so that is very usable. And if we go down here, there's even some extra space for your charging cable and so on. Really quite nice, very usable, very square, and of course a very nice low opening as well. Now the door handle for the rear door is hidden here, also for aerodynamic reasons, but again for design reasons too, so that this whole rear panel sort of flows into one point. Speaking of points, the roof actually extends quite far. They said they do that for aerodynamic reasons, because obviously a longer roof makes for better aero values. 0.26 value for this car, so that's pretty good. Not as good as the DS8 that had 0.24, but they want DS to be the range king and the aero king of the entire Stellantis group. So that's, again, pretty cool to hear how they're working, how they're looking at every surface and every area of the car to make those values work. I think walking around the car here, it is obviously very different than what you're used to, but I think that's quite nice. These days, all cars seem to go through the same wind tunnel, especially electric cars, and they all end up looking sort of roughly the same. But it's nice to have a brand that wants to think outside the box and really put its own design stamp on things. Not only looking at efficiency, but of course, being French, DS also wants to make a beautiful car. And I think they've done a good job here, making it very distinctly DS and still very functional and good looking at the same time. Now, a quick impression of the interior. We're not going to do the full tour. We're going to wait for the dynamic drive to do that. But it is very, very appealing in here. We had a whole presentation earlier from the designers and how they sort of sketch out the lines of the interior and then develop all the separate elements to fit that design. And then you sit in the car and it's really cool to actually see that vision and the terminology that they use come true here in the actual tangible objects. So for example, the clean line of the dash and then this floating centerpiece, yeah, it's really nice. And you can tell that they've paid attention to keeping it minimalistic and keeping it stylish at the same time. My personal favorite is the speaker here on the left, also of course on the passenger door. That is also the hand grip to open and close the door, and at the same time it is interior light that's integrated there, so that's nice. And it is in general a very nice place to be. It's all very clean, the materials are very high quality, and you can really tell that they've paid attention to make this special. Where the DS7 was really a Stellantis product in its core, this is really a DS product, although you can still see some remnants like the gear shifter here, for example. But overall, it's a very high quality cockpit that feels nice. You can feel the craftsmanship and all those things that they talk about in the design briefing. And you can really feel that back here. So I think they've done a pretty good job in keeping that French feeling, that you can really feel that they're proud to be French and proud to make this different and proud to make this as cool as it is. So that's nice. So I grabbed my notes to tell you about the different versions, starting with the different powertrains. There will be 3 electric ones and 1 hybrid for now at launch. The hybrid is the 145 with, unsurprisingly, 145 horsepower. That will give you a projected range of over 1,000 kilometers from a 55-liter tank. So that's impressive. You will be the slowest from 0 to 100 at 10.6 seconds, but you will have the highest top speed at 201 kilometers an hour, where the electric versions are limited at 190. There will be a secondary hybrid down the road. They're a bit vague here today about what kind of hybrid. Could be plug-in, could be something else. They're not really entirely sure yet, they say. So that is something for the future. Then we have the 3 electric versions that are called E10s here at DS. Starting with the E10's front-wheel drive, 230 horsepower, 74 kilowatt-hour battery, and a projected range of 543 kilometers, and a sprint time of 7.7 to 100 kilometers an hour. Then we have the E10's front-wheel drive long range, same engine, a little bit more horsepower, same Newton meters, but a bigger battery at 97 kilowatt hours over the 74 of the standard range. Give you a projected range of 740 WLTP kilometers, so that's impressive. Then the top of the range is the long range all-wheel drive with 350 horsepower. It's the top of the range, fastest as well with 5.4 seconds to 100, so that's twice as fast as the hybrid version. And you will get a WLTP range of 679 kilometers. Then the interior and exterior spec options. I'm not going to walk you through all the different versions because of course there's a lot to choose in terms of color and rims and everything else. And we had a whole display here and a whole workshop about all the fantastic combinations of things that they have. It's really nice and it's actually quite impressive the level of trim that they offer. There is 4 levels. You have the La Première, which is the launch edition. Underneath we have the Étoile that we're in right now. Then we have the Palace, and on the bottom you have the Aura as the sort of starting point of the line. Then there's 5 interior options. There's 4 rim options from 19 to 21 inch. You can choose the roof or no roof, and you can have the extended 2-tone color or not. And on top of that, there is 6 exterior colors. So there's quite a lot to mix and match in the DS configurator or at the DS dealer. And it is all actually quite nice to see what's possible. So I switched cars, as you can see interior-wise, this one matches my shirt a bit better, to show you the rear of the car, which is actually quite nice. A lot more headroom here than in the number 8, so that shows that it is a significantly different car for a different audience. And back here, it's good. All the materials are very much on par with the front, so that is a good thing right away. And it's a nice place to be. Thanks to the glass roof, there's a lot of light. And thanks to the blue interior in this particular one, it is also not as dark as you expect it to be. Because, for example, the rear window is, letterbox size, so that's not much light coming in. But overall, it's a decently airy feel back here, so that's good. Space-wise, I'm 183 and nearly 100 kilos, and I feel relatively comfortable here. Don't think I can sit next to myself twice, but, 2 passengers, no issues. 3 kids, also no issues. The floor is basically completely flat. There is a little bit of a hump, but this much. And the middle tunnel protrudes a little bit, so I can't slide my foot all the way across, but there is ample space. So it is quite a nice place to be, and especially the fact that the materials translate back here is good too. You don't feel tucked away here and sort of left to your own devices. All the basics are covered in terms of some storage here in the seat, some USBs for charging, some temperature control. All the things you expect in a car in this price range as well, and in this segment. So yeah, all around pretty good. Nothing really to complain about space-wise or feeling-wise. The seats are one piece with an integrated headrest. So for kids that are of course a lot lower than I am, that might be an issue, but all around I don't find them to be too much in the way. Especially because the central screen in the front is dead in the middle. so that's, you know, there's plenty of information coming from the front, also because the space between the seats is quite large. After a whole afternoon here in the DS Design Studios with this number 7, it's a first impression, of course, and most importantly, we didn't drive it because this is a static launch, but I do think it is a very nice upgrade over the original DS7. That, of course, was the first real DS product that the brand sort of relaunched itself, and I think this is a very good successor to that successful car that is their bestseller. It is very typical, it's very particular, so I can really understand that this is not your taste at all, you know, then you don't have to look at this car, but it is really something different than the Chinese, different than the Koreans, different than the Germans, and it is more and more a DS product, where the previous DSs had a lot of Stellantis material and DNA inside them. Of course it still is a Stellantis product, but the DS sauce that they put on top is getting thicker and thicker, and I think that's really cool. And talking to the designers here and listening to them explain how they came about this car is also really nice, because the passion and the Frenchness of this brand really comes through. And I think that's cool. And I think that's something, if you like it, this is certainly a car to consider, because it does have a lot of qualities and it is something truly different. So that's all I got for you in this video. If you subscribe to the channel, then I'm going to drive this car on the media launch as well. So I hope to give you some actual feedback on the dynamics and the usability in the real world then. For now, thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, and let me know if you think DS is a cool brand or not. See you in the next one. Cheers.